Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, I am Psychic Bella Love, and you can book your own personal private reading with me on my website, psychicbellalove.com. All prices have been lowered to help you guys still be able to access spiritual help and not break the bank in the craziness of everything that is going on with this economy and inflation and all of that. Also, you can join my Patreon. That is where I upload all day, every day, except for Sundays. And my Patreons receive all kinds of exclusives, from exclusive special discounts and readings, as well as that is where we have all of our uncensored conversations, and we cover whether all of the rumored dark evils of the industry are real or not, and the history behind that stuff. We also discuss history, religion, the truth about spirituality. We do a lot of healing and ancestor works. It is a real spiritual community. So if you are woke and would like to join us, or you are ready to wake up, my Patreon is always patreon.com/psychicbellalove. All the information and links will be in the description box below, as well as my Instagram and my backup channel. And the other thing that my Patreons get is I go live twice a week, and we go over everything, and they get to ask me all kinds of questions and whatnot. So we have a great time over there. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video as well. I will not be leaving YouTube for now. I'm gonna try my hardest to still somehow function on here, even though I have to censor myself so much. We will start doing live celebrity readings on this channel and on my Instagram starting in September. And my Patreons will be the ones that will be voting on the topics that we will be reading on. So if you want to partake in any of that, all that information will be linked down below so you can subscribe. So with that out of the way, I am going to say that unfortunately I will have to censor myself quite a bit in this reading, because we are looking at whether or not Britney Spears is actually freed from the conservatorship, or what the heck is really going on, because there is a lot of, if you watch her Instagram, a lot of weirdness happening over there, and a lot of people are questioning how Matthew Rosengart is going about, all of this stuff that he needs to do, or that maybe we expected of him to do when it came to getting her justice, and what's, really going on in that weird marriage and everything else. So there is a lot, because I already have covered this on my Patreon. So if you are on my Patreon, a lot of this might be sort of a rehashing for you in a more censored way. If you really, truly want to know the real, true details, of what's really going on and stuff I cannot talk about here on YouTube, I highly suggest you join my Patreon. I also only upload mediumship readings over there anymore also, and I did originally attempt to sit down to do this video for YouTube and ended up channeling Brittany Murphy instead, and that is currently uploading for my Patreons right now. So if you want to see that video, what she had to say about her own life, but also the parallels to Brittany and how it all ties together, head over to my Patreon. And since it's only $6 a month, and it is the beginning of the month, so you'll be able to participate in everything that we have going on over there. And also we don't, you can get all the details about everything that's going on. So, because I have to censor myself so much, and I'm like, okay, like I've, gone so deep into this on Patreon that I'm like, how do I keep it YouTube friendly? I am using my tarot cards for this to see if maybe that helps me be able to explain things in a way that doesn't get me in trouble or get this from even being able to be seen. Because, the reason why I'm doing this here is to bring attention and awareness to what's going on, so you guys know and can start looking further. If you go into Britney's actual comment section on Instagram, you'll see that there's quite a few pages that comment in there, like in Britney's deleted posts and who's really running Britney's Instagram, as well as House and Habit, who are covering and bringing up, all of the weirdness that is going on around that whole situation. So there's a lot of messages that are being spread to people in higher up positions in those strange captions of hers on her page. The one thing that I will definitely say right off the bat is she is not running her Instagram at all, or any of her social media. I don't know if she's on any other social media because I'm not on Twitter or Facebook, but Spirit just wants us to know Britney is not in control of her Instagram right now. A lot of these posts are written in certain ways that if you know anything about the Jakumatati and numerology and all of that kind of stuff, you can decipher what the real meanings are, especially if you know symbolism of things as well, because they use a lot of emojis to throw things in as well. So some of these are messages signaling to higher ups, elites, if you want to call them that. And at the same time, if we write it as convoluted as possible as well, then people think that she is still in this not fully there state, that she needs people around her living her life for her and telling her what to do 24 hours a day. So it serves double purposes. And once they've gotten the message across, they delete it and then put up roses. Anybody who remembers what roses were on Backpage and Craigslist and places like that should understand what that means. Again, you can look up symbolism for things, or if you want to join the Patreon, we've broken that all down over there. So getting into the tarot spread that I pulled, and I just asked Spirit, in a general sense, where do we start and what would you like me to share? And I literally prayed, please help me say this in a way that I can get the message across on YouTube. So in the underlying energy, the first message that is coming up is Sam is showing up as the King of Pentacles, with the Two of Cups behind him and the Ten of Swords in front of him, meaning obviously he does not have the best intentions, and he sees this marriage as a way for him to elevate himself financially and getting people to know who he is. If you haven't noticed, as soon as they got married, all of a sudden he's doing all these sponsored posts on Instagram. And if you go, I believe House and Habit had it. If not, then it was on Who Runs Britney's Instagram. They have a screenshot of an email that went out to all of these people, saying oh, if you want to work with Sam, now he's married to Britney. Basically, here, let all the sponsorship opportunities roll in for him to make a buck now, because he's tied to Britney Spears, so he can charge more money. So he is also one of her handlers. Again, you can look up what that really is, or you can join the Patreon, because I can't get into that part of things too much deep over here. So Sam, is definitely a part of all this. Now, this is something that I've always said. I didn't understand how he could be around during the conservatorship if her dad got rid of all of her other previous boyfriends, unless he was somehow brought in because he worked for them in some capacity or another, and it was just like, to explain away why this random person is here, we're gonna make him be Britney's boyfriend and then make her marry him and all of this stuff. Because Spirit is saying she had no idea. Well, not no idea. She had no choice in who she got married to. She had no choice in this relationship, and she had no idea who was coming to her wedding. There is a big, it's easy to make Daddy Spears the scapegoat in all of this, and not that he doesn't deserve to go down for this. However, it goes beyond Daddy Spears and Lou Taylor, and if you want to know who it goes to, join the Patreon. Because again, can't say that. I can't say that and keep my account here. That's all I can say. It's not because I'm trying to force everybody to join my Patreon. It's just there are certain things that I talk about that I cannot post publicly or say certain things, so. But there was people that were ordering them around, that had them doing their day-to-day dirty work, so to speak. And so, it was, let's get him out of the way and pen everything on the two of them to go down for it. Make it seem like she is being freed. However, we just basically transferred control and ownership to somebody else and made it seem like, it's under the guise of there is a care plan in place to help her transition forwards. Spirit is saying, what is the end date on this supposed care plan? And what does it entail? Because there is a way that they could make it public without giving away her personal medical information or any other protected information, where it's just like, the person that's helping her transition over to running her day-to-day life will have a weekly phone call with her, make sure she's making her weekly doctor's appointments. That's not violating. You know what I mean? You're not saying she's going to Dr. So-and-so for this and that thing. So they're not being transparent. It's like we're giving you breadcrumbs and distractions, but we're not at all giving you the real truth of what's really, truly going on. I will say this much. Britney is definitely being spiritually oppressed. That's why you see that vacant look in her eyes in a lot of the videos, and why she's unable to do certain things, and they keep forcing her to do certain things repetitively, because repetitive movements will put you in a trance, especially when you're listening to certain music, doing it. And it's much easier to then, influence you to do other things afterwards, or force you to do other things. So It's no coincidence that Rosengart was referred to Britney by High Kabbalah witch priestess Madonna. The Madonna who gave her the kiss of death on stage, and everything fell apart in Britney's life thereafter. And who showed up at her wedding to give her another kiss. And recommended this so-called, this lawyer that was so-called fighting for her freedom. If you're in my Patreon, you know that Madonna met him through Sean Penn, and we know that Sean Penn isn't really involved in. All of this is alleged for entertainment purposes only. I just like to tell ghost stories with my little cards that have pictures on them. None of this is a true statement. There's my disclaimers. All right, so there is, this very concentrated effort behind the scenes between basically everybody who is pretending to be on Team Justice and Team We're doing the right thing and being the advocates that Britney needed as far as judges, lawyers, assistants, anybody else that's around her. It's not like, oh, she got all of these, replaced all the horrible people, and now her life is filled up with the ones that care about her and really have her best interests at heart. And she was able to reconnect with old friends that always loved her but were cut off during, the conservatorship years. This is another team that was assembled to take the place of the other ones. Because, again, it was the changing of the guard, we're going to replace Aunt Viv type thing, but you still have the same cast, the same writers, the same script, the same show. You just replaced, one actor playing that character, but it's still the same character, if that makes sense. Because we have this Queen of Pentacles behind this Justice card, crowned with the Seven of Cups, as in there is a lot of misinformation being spread because people are benefiting financially from this. And there is no financial motivation to the people who have been benefiting financially off of what they've done to her to end it. Instead, what they're doing is finding new ways to financially benefit off of her instead of the old ways. And there's new people sticking their hand in the pot to do it. Can't force her to get up on stage and work and sing and do choreography, because what they have done to her, she is not capable of doing that anymore. If you know what yachting is, that's the new forced work for Britney right now. You want to know why and all of that stuff? You know where to go. And this is just so you guys know, this is like probably the only video I'll ever put up telling you every 5 seconds. You probably have to go to my Patreon if you have questions about that. But it really is just because this is such a sensitive topic. Not because, I hate having, I've told you guys, that's why I wanted to leave, because I hate having to do a half a censored video and then tell you to have to go somewhere else to get the rest of the information. But that's what we're going to have to resort to with certain things. And like I said, this is about bringing awareness to it so you guys can start digging in and doing your own research. She's not losing it now that she has her freedom and just being this crazy wild child the way that everybody thinks. It's much more dark and sinister, and Britney is not safe and she is not okay. They're going to do everything they can to keep her dad from speaking out and to make sure that he goes down for this and takes the hit for it, because there always has to be that fall guy. Behind the scenes, though, they're fighting over whether or not it would be beneficial to make or have a child with Sam or not. This whole... I can't go into the other parts of it. We know there was an announcement, and then there was another announcement afterwards that something was no longer happening. All I can say is blood sacrifice ritual. So we have to fight for Britney, y'all, because there's a tower card coming up. And it's, if the right people do not start fighting for this woman and making noise to the point that they're going to have to let her go and free her, because too many people are being too freaking loud and pointing too many fingers, there's a tower card moment coming. And that's, you know, as far as I can get into it, and it is around Britney, and it's not good. On the flip side of that, we have the World card with the Nine of Wands and the Temperance, talking about we can help her spiritually and in this realm by praying. And if you are spiritually gifted in any way, start doing light some candles for her. Start commenting in her Instagram. Start riling up the Free Britney movement again. I'm trying not to cry because, you know, like I said, she is not safe. And this is why I'm doing this, to bring awareness to it, because nobody deserves to go through what this poor girl is being forced to undergo. And it, like I said, it's bad. So they are all in on it, you guys. They just picked who was going to be the fall guy, and it was get Jamie out of the way, because guess what? For families out of the way, we don't have to pay the middleman anymore. It's basically what it came down to. So anyways, guys, I love you. I am going to go. Like I said, if you want to hear that Brittany Murphy reading, know any of the more deeper, darker details about this situation, or anything else that does go on in the industry, access other exclusive content, and join our spiritual community where we go live twice a week. And I post 6 days a week in there. Then you can join my Patreon. That will be linked in the description box below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's all pray for Britney. Let me know, what have you guys thought about what's going on? Did you believe something was wrong with her, or there was something deeper happening? And follow me on Instagram. And like I said, in September on Fridays, we will go live on YouTube and Instagram and cover celeb topics over the week voted on by my Patreons. And a special thank you to my Patreons who make it possible for me to even do this in the first place. Love y'all, and have a good one. Bye.